Question 208. What skill or craft would you like to master?
Oh.
I've been teaching myself to be ambidextrous, and I want to learn how to draw with my left hand.
Cool.
I want to be like my sister could stick her thumb in the ground and grow a tree. That's how much of a green thumb she is.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to do that because I've attempted to grow things and it's hit or miss for me. Even if I follow the instructions, even if I, do what you're supposed to do, it's not like what she can do. I'm telling you, she's, my sister can grow anything and everything, and she lives 8,000 elevation in Arizona, and she's able to make things that don't grow there grow there. And it's maddening. But it helps someone to be self-sustainable, at least when it comes to food too.
Amanda.
I've always wanted to be able to fucking fix cars. Like, my car is fucked right now. It's been in the shop for a couple weeks, I'm pretty sure, but it's just done. And I've had a couple boyfriends that were mechanics or worked on cars, and I've always been fascinated with that. So that, probably.
I thought she was going to say she wanted to be a scientist. And I'd say, aren't you?
I thought she was going to say fix climate change.
Well, see, she's already got that trade, though. That's the thing.
No, I'm trying.
Yeah, but this is a question would you like to be better at? So.
Bits. And I've got to say, I think if I had to pick something, it would probably go down soldering. I'm naff at soldering.
That's my trade right there.
See, I can solder. I'm just shit at it because I don't do enough. But I don't have enough that I want to do.
It goes down to the equipment too. You have to have a good iron.
My grandmother learned to solder during the Second World War, and she was exceptionally good at it. So
excuse me, weren't terminals a lot bigger then? In general.
That's not the point. When I started showing an interest in electronics, she insisted that I learn to do it properly.
Why not?
So I'm actually pretty good at soldering.
Well, I'll send you everything I need soldered.
No, screw that.
I had to replace the power button on a Nexus 5 phone, which is a surface mount switch with 4 pins right next to each other. And I could not get that. I could not get all 4 at the same time. No.
A little bit of solder wick.
Yeah, a little bit of solder wick. Because my air gun wasn't working properly, and I had to do a hard drive repair for somebody where I had to, because they had the board die on a Western Digital hard drive, and I had to take the encoder chip off the original board, solder it to the other board, and swap the board over to the other hard drive, and I desoldered that fucking chip by hand with the normal soldering iron and soldered it on the next one, and put in a replacement track for a damaged track that was on the board, and I did that all with a normal soldering iron by hand, and it worked perfectly. That's bloody hard to do.
Yeah, it is. I can actually say that my hands have a lot of heat tolerance, but when I started...
each time I come to solder, I keep ending up with calluses all over them. Doorknob says he's NASA certified in soldering, which means he's yet another NASA shill.
No. Being NASA certified, that means you can't make a mistake. You can't go back and wick away and no. There's no putting a little flux there, resoldering it. You had to do it right the first time.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Bill.
For me, it would be welding. I can do the basics, but I'd really like to be able to do proper, very skilled at both TIG and MIG welding.
Why TIG and MIG rather than ARC? ARC is far better.
Well, yeah, but ARC is TIG and MIG, isn't it?
They are, but they require...
But anyway, the point being that obviously there are certain things that cannot be done by machine. Like, the world will always need humans to weld things. Like, it will always be a required thing. Just purely because of the fact that, like, certain things, you can't put a machine into a certain space where a human can actually get into that space. Do you know what I mean?
That's becoming less of a problem as time goes on.
It's becoming less of a problem, but it will always be there will always be a requirement for manual welders somewhere. It will always be a requirement. They'll never.
But there's no reason why that manual welder can't be a humanoid machine.
No.
No, that is true. That is true. If it was a humanoid machine, that is true. But it would need to be an almost android level machine. Do you know what I mean? Like
we can build machines fairly close to that now.
Have you watched the video of
Boston Robotics?
The one that just shows the progress over the last 10 years?
Of Boston Robotics, yeah.
That's an excellent video. Excellent robots. What do we got here? Shadow Kitty says they'd like to be multilingual. Part of me...
You didn't ask me, Dave.
Did I not?
You did not.
What would you like to master?
I would like to be better at art, because when it comes to creating new stuff, I'm good at putting shit together, but actually creating my own original artworks, I suck at. Especially when it comes to doing 3D modeling and stuff like that, and I really wish I was decent at it, because there's so many times I could have use for it.
I don't have an artistic bone in my body. Literally. Which is a shame.
Mine is more of words than it is of art, so...
So I'd like to be able to do what Sal can do, because that would be fucking awesome. I'm very jealous of Sal's skills.
Tips, yo. Sal is amazing.
I would be happy with better specialization. I'm quite happy to make things talk to each other and work. But every job you go to now, they seem to want you to make it look pretty as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like pretty though. Pretty is nice.
Yes, pretty is nice. But expecting someone that is highly skilled in programming to be able to make things look nice is not.
Well, I agree with you there.
It's not.
I really do.
Yeah.
It's why most programming is done in teams, actually. So you share the skills across a range of people.
Yes,
So...
no, that's how it's meant to work.
But that doesn't work like when you're doing your own personal projects, because then you've got to be able to do the whole lot. And the bit that I find I like most in is the artwork for things. Like, there's been plenty of times I've put code together to make games, and I get to the point where I need to design characters for this game, or I need to design 3D models, and I give up.
Yes.
I'm like, no, I can't do it. I just cannot do it. I spent 4 hours designing a spoon in Adobe 3D Effect, 3D, no, whatever it is, the 3D modeler app for Adobe.
Yes.
4 hours designing a spoon, and I'm like, that's one model for this entire thing I'm creating. And no, I can't do this. It was going to drive me nuts.
Yes, completely agree. Jessa, did you answer?
I did. Gardening was what I wanted.
You're right.
To go
My bad. You were first.
Horticulture.
Bill, what?
I was just going to say, I always think that these sort of skills, it's good to have a skill that you can perform, which doesn't require, basically, that you can get paid in cash for. If we have to live in a capitalist society, you get paid in cash for. You don't have to put any of it on the books. You don't have to have any connection to anything. Do you know what I mean? A skill that you can do with your hands, and you can get paid in cash, not have to pay anything to the government. Fuck all of that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
the problem is
that
the complexity of the things we make now, it is not possible to be specialized and complete a project. Very few people can economically do a project from beginning to end and do everything in it. And you can have people that don't. You can have better specialization, but then you have to have the expectations set out right. So you can have someone that delivers something that's ugly, for example, on the understanding that that's what they're getting, something that's ugly, and then there will be someone else's labor that makes that pretty.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you. I just think that we need this. It's this problem we've got over here. No, I'm not going to go into it. It's government. No, forget that.
Yeah, let's move on to politics then, Dave.
Yeah. Continue.
Continue, next question.
Next question. Why are all these skill ones in here?
It's entirely your fault. It's
Yeah,
your
I know it
orders.
is. I should have reordered them. I blame Manda.
Yeah. Always my fault.
Hashtag blame MathPig. Hashtag blame MathPig.
I can't blame Mathpig. I didn't see him yesterday.
Well,
I saw Amanda.
He's in the chat though.
No, I did see him. I'm taking the piss. Right.
Well, yeah. If it's his fault, it's my fault too. So, sorry.